We take a look into the dangers of vaping, an interview with the new vice principal, and a look back at this year's homecoming festivities.
All that and more coming up on Wildcat News. Welcome to the first edition of Wildcat News for the 2019 to 2020 school year. I'm your host, Charles Phelan. For our first story, a popular activity among teens is having very dangerous consequences. Vaping has become an issue in high schools across the country. Christina Messina takes a look at what is quickly becoming an epidemic.
Yo, bro, try this new vape I got. It's mint mango peach.
I mean, yeah, but like, you know what that stuff does to you, right?
Nah, dude, it's all good. It's like a lot better than cigarettes, and it makes you feel so dope.
Dude, but vaping increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and etc., man.
Nice, dude. I don't really care though. It's not like anyone's died or anything.
Actually, there's been 9 deaths proved to be from vaping and can also give you popcorn lungs.
Dude, I do not care. Do you want to rip this dope new juke or not, bro?
Dude, I just want to let you know the side effects, man.
The skit between Kenton and Kevin reflects real conversations I've heard in the halls. With the recent rise in vaping-related deaths, everyone needs to pay closer attention to the risks. But as a high school student who knows many people who vape, this is a habit that for many will be difficult to stop.
I think kids vape in school more because they want to appeal to everyone else, and it's trendy right now, and they want to blend in with all their friends, and they want to just like have fun, and they want to be rebellious.
I think it's a big generation thing for us. Like our parents, when they were younger, like smoking cigarettes was a big thing, and now for us, it's vaping and cartridges like that, like stuff like that.
Do you think they do it because they enjoy it or because it feels good and it's cool?
I think it could be like both, but I feel like a lot of people actually do enjoy it, and that's why.
According to recent studies, close to 40% of high school students vape. Boys are twice as likely to do so. School administrators see vaping as a concerning issue.
It's not like the cigarette epidemic that we had back when I was in high school, or even before that. You know, cigarettes had a long-term effect that you had to do over a long period of time. Vaping, if you're watching the news, vaping's having an instant effect. Popcorn lungs, kids just going to the hospital, kids passing away because they don't know what's in the vape. And that's a great concern. You know, I look at it not just as a quasi-administrator, but as a parent. I don't want to see anything bad happen to students because they don't know what they're putting in their body.
This is an epidemic that will be hard to stop, but by shedding light on it, it could help some people think twice before their next trip. For WVTV, this is Christina Messina.
The use of e-cigarettes has caused the number of deaths to rise to 19. At the very least, teens should heavily reconsider vaping.
Everyone loves Work's annual fall foliage, but what else do students love about the autumn season? Here's Emmanuel Patterson with the story.
Students all over Warwick Valley High School are super excited for this holiday season. I'm here with Caroline Scotto, a junior here at our school. Caroline, what is your favorite holiday and why?
My favorite holiday is for sure Halloween because I just love the whole fall vibe and I just think it's the best time of the year. You get candy and you get to dress up. It's all great.
Caroline, what do you plan on doing this holiday?
I plan on having a Halloween party with all of my best friends and probably going trick-or-treating with my friends as well because I do that every single year.
Even though it's early October, you should be getting your candy ready. For WVTV, I'm Emmanuel Patterson, signing off.
With students going out and about on that fall night, make sure to stay safe on Halloween.
A new school year means that there will be many new teen drivers on the road. Kenton Mears shares some tips to help reduce careless behavior behind the wheel.
Reckless driving accounts for thousands of accidents, injuries, and fatalities each year. High school students are twice as likely to make poor decisions behind the wheel. Here are 3 tips to consider when you become a more confident driver. Slow down. 37% of young drivers were speeding before a fatal crash. 2, Limit your late night drives. 25% of teenage vehicle fatalities happen between midnight and 6 a.m. 3. Put down the phone. Distracting driving is reckless driving. For more information for how you can protect yourself and others behind the wheel, visit nhtsa.gov.
Follow these easy steps can go a long way to help save many lives. For more information, you can visit nhtsa.gov to find out how to prevent reckless and distracted driving.
And coming up, we sat down with the new associate principal, Mr. Keith Johnson, to find out what brought him here to Warwick. Wildcat News will be right back.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Action!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first installment of School Talk for the 2019-2020 school year. I'm Nick DeLeo, and I'm excited to be back. I want to thank Mr. Ciccone and the communication students for asking me to host once again. School Talk can be found each month in Warwick Valley Television's Wildcat News, and you can find us online by subscribing to Warwick Valley Television on YouTube. In addition to Wildcat News, you'll find our other great shows, Overtime, In the Valley, and Short Stack. Joining me today is our new Associate Principal, Keith Johnson. Keith, thanks for being here.
Appreciate the
and
opportunity.
On behalf of everybody, welcome to Warwick Valley High School. So let's get our first interview going. You were a teacher before you became an Associate Principal, not only here, but as teacher to teacher, what did you teach? And where, too?
I spent my teaching career, when I first started my teaching career, I spent 17 years teaching physical education and health in Northern Valley Regional High School, both at Demorest High School and Old Tappan.
Now, I don't know that. Just let everybody know, where are those schools? I know Old Tappan, I think. Is that Westchester?
No, it is in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Right on the border of New York.
Excellent. Now, you and I were talking off camera. We have a commonality. We share something. We're both second profession, I call them second profession teachers, where we came from something else. I worked for IBM for a number of years and realized that wasn't for me, and I wanted to go into teaching. You have a very different path. Tell us a little bit about what you did prior to becoming teacher and ultimately a principal.
Yeah, well, I graduated from Middletown High School. I went to Boston University, transferred there to graduated at SUNY Cortland with sports medicine, athletic training background, kind of like Sue Abel does here.
Right, right.
And I was fortunate enough to get an internship with a team, independent baseball team called the Elmira Pioneers in Elmira, New York.
Upstate, right?
Upstate, yes. And everything that is true about independent baseball teams is true, like the movies where the broke down bus and everything else, 100% true. Shady hotels and everything else.
That's awesome.
But fortunately, through that experience, I was able to get a job as a trainer and strength coach for the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
I worked for them for 4 years. I did 2 years in the minor leagues, and then 2 years down in rookie ball in the Gulf Coast League, but also Major League Rehab. So, for example, if somebody like Derek Jeter or Carlos Stanton got injured, they'd send them down to Tampa. They would send them down to me. I apologize for that.
That's
okay. So I was down for Major League Rehab. So it was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of the Boston Red Sox, the up-and-coming players, but also the major leaguers as well.
Where was this? Was this down in Florida?
Yeah, in Fort Myers, Florida, on the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
That's where the complex was, and that's where we did our rehab, our major league rehab stints were down there, yeah.
So I guess my next question is, which makes sense, what ultimately brought you to education? For me, it was big business. For you, it was essentially big business as well, but with sports. What brought you into education?
It's a great question. You know, I think that the glamour of the job is probably a little bit more what we see on television, the background and everything to prepare for that television of what the Major League ball players are doing. So it was a 7-day-a-week job, 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day.
That's
and
a long day.
you're talking about a lot of travel. Stability wasn't really there.
Okay.
And when you kind of factor things out as you get a little bit older and you start thinking about some things down the road of lifelong things that you want to accomplish, like getting married, having a family, having a stable house, and things of that nature. It was a great job in my early 20s, but I had to reevaluate, and but I was grateful for the time that I had there, and it led me to where I'm at today. So
that's all. I think the allure of all of that, of the fame, and I think it gets old after a while. I think you pretty much said that.
It certainly does. I did when I was out in the minor league system for 2 years. I did one in the Midwest League, where I saw some towns that you wouldn't even know were on a map.
Right.
And interesting communities, but with that gave me a lot of experience, got a lot of real life experience, a lot of experience outside of the teaching field that I'm able to use those experiences and take them with me through this journey.
And I agree with you, because my time at IBM, I brought a lot of that, although it no longer fit me. I still bring a lot of that here.
Correct.
So.
Right.
Now, you joined us in July. You came in July?
That is correct.
All right, so we're taping this in the end of September. You've been here July, August, September, 3 months. What do you think are some of the biggest differences between where you taught or coached elsewhere and here? What's your initial sense of how we may be a little different?
I think right off the bat, a sense of community. I mean,
Really?
it's been unbelievable on how the community up here in Warwick Valley comes together. My jaw dropped when I was at the pep rally and the parade. These are things that I only thought existed in movies, and they're here, and I'm part of it, which I'm very excited for, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of.
Excellent. And then you said you got to see Homecoming. I always tell everybody, it's unlike anything that you've seen, that hometown spirit.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. Let's just take a look at some of the other questions I have for you. Of all the various jobs you've had, which one would be your favorite, if there is one? This is one of the questions from the kids.
Well, that backs me into a corner.
I was just thinking that. You better say the right one.
Yes, well, definitely Warwick Valley,
Yep.
beyond all of them. But I think what is important to recognize is that, certain areas of your life and certain time periods of your life, each job I think fit me well. Okay. The Red Sox job was a great job when I was single, when I was in my early 20s, traveling, seeing places, working with personalities that we saw on television and things of those nature. That job springboarded me into my job as a physical education and health teacher in Northern Valley for 17 years, which I had an extensive coaching career down there as well. Those experiences allowed me to be a stint as an athletic director in Tappan Zee District, and those experiences allowed me the opportunity to come up here and become an associate principal. So it's hard to say a specific one because they all didn't happen at the same time. I didn't get to choose, but I'm extremely lucky and very fortunate to be up here, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that we bring a piece of every job we've had. A piece kind of sticks with you, and then it becomes an amalgam of all of them.
Absolutely.
So now, besides being our associate principal, and you have this great background with the Boston Red Sox, and just what did you do for the Red Sox? I think you said it a little earlier. You were
I was a trainer, sports medicine and strength and conditioning coach. Okay. So one of the things that Dr. Andrews, who works a lot on Major League pitchers, is very familiar if you're around Major League Baseball. He worked with the Boston Red Sox, and a lot of what we did off-season strength and conditioning programs for the athletes to make sure that they were in shape after they left camp in late September, October, to make sure that they were in proper shape for the upcoming year, and then maintaining that throughout the year, keeping logs and journals of everything. I think, one of the other things about this is that some of the personalities you had to deal with. Like I was dealing with GMs because even though I was with another human being, that human being was a commodity that was multiple millions of dollars for the organization.
It's big business.
It's really big
when
business.
You look at ticket prices, you know it's big business.
Yes, and a lot of behind the scenes things that are not being seen, the communication that's happening and the programs of where everything is pretty it's pretty nerve-wracking. It's high stress, but again, it is something that I was again just really glad to be a part of, and it's an experience that I was fortunate to have, and I'm glad that I take that experience with me.
Excellent. Let's get you back here to Warwick in your educational experience as well. I've had past principals in here. I'm sure at some point Mrs. Fusco will come in. We'll visit with her a little bit. But I think every administrator has something he or she would like to implement at Warwick. It worked in another school. Do you have anything any other programs at other schools that maybe you would like to see come to Warwick, or what have you seen here as far as our programs go?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the rotating schedule. I came from Northern Valley. We had the rotating schedule.
Did you have that too?
Yes, we had the rotating schedule for about 10 to 12 years. And like I said, I was a teacher in that system. I was an administrator in that system where we had the rotating schedule, but also the unit lunch.
Okay.
And just, I know they do a wonderful job here, and a lot of the clubs meet during that time, and I'm familiar with that.
Right.
From a physical education perspective, and maybe looking at our intramural program and possibly implementing that during the unit lunch when everybody's off.
Oh, okay.
Those are ideas that we kind of did down in Northern Valley. But
was it successful down there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was very successful.
I'm sure the coaches would love that.
Yeah, we had a lot, big enrollment, big student enrollment, various types of activities, everything from badminton to basketball to wiffle ball and everything else, which we, I guess moving forward as I kind of get used to and accustomed to the culture here in Warwick Valley, thinking about ways that maybe we could implement that. But again, it's my first year. I'm just trying to get through the hallways like the freshmen are and getting to know everybody.
Oh, I was just sitting here thinking this is a little bit unfair because, like I said, you got a whopping 4 months here, but you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that.
Very quickly, and we're going to wrap it up in a minute. Do you want to go back to coaching, or is that a thing of the past? Because I've been doing this is my 21st year doing drama, so I'm always wondering, as a fellow advisor. Do you want to go back?
We're all passionate about certain things, and coaching for me was definitely something that I was very passionate about. I was luckily to coach and be involved in coaching at the highest level, but I've been in state championships. I've coached in MetLife Stadium for football for 2 state championships. Won a state championship with softball, so coaching is in my blood. And I kind of feel like associate principal. And that is one of those things where I can bring a lot of those coaching experiences in. But I'm not out of the game yet. I do coach my 8-year-old daughter in mini soccer. So we have a game this weekend. We got the Red Bulls.
Who are we rooting for?
We're Manchester United.
Go Manchester United. All right, Keith, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure. Welcome to the Warwick family. It's great to have you here. And I'd like to thank today's guests for being with us on School Talk, and a special thanks to you, our viewer, for joining us as well. Remember to like us and subscribe to Warwick Valley Television on YouTube. For School Talk, I'm Nick DeLeo, and I'll catch you next time.
Yeah. Are you wearing your seatbelt? No. Kim, you know that people not wearing a seatbelt are 30 times more likely to be ejected from the vehicle.
Airbags are useless unless you're wearing your seatbelt.
Okay, guys, I'll wear my seatbelt from now on.
For more information on seatbelt and car safety, visit www.safercar.gov.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house. Pick Pick a safe meeting spot and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.
Welcome back to Wildcat News. I'm your host, Maddie Goronsky. For our next story, we look into the topic of digital art and how one teacher thinks about it being used for beginning artists.
As the world is becoming more technologically advanced each day, digital art is starting to take the world by storm. Here I'm joined with Kristen Spano, an art teacher at the Warwick Valley High School. Now, Kristen Spano, do you think that traditional art is better to learn first before going into digital art?
Yes, I have to agree. I do believe that that is good for a student to know the foundations of art. You start with a pencil. I think a student needs to understand how to create a gradation using one medium instead of using a tablet, and they can just then select the tool and then create a gradation with the flick of their finger or the flick of their stylus pen.
Now, what program do you guys use?
So we currently use Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. But in Photoshop, if you're doing a traditional rendering of a drawing that you want from 2D to be 3D to have dimension, we would use Photoshop.
Though digital art is starting to become more popular, traditional art is still loved by many. This is Gabe with WVTV.
Although digital art may be easier to produce, many believe it's important for artists to build a solid foundation in traditional art skills first.
Every year, students are given the opportunity to show off their school pride with costumes and one massive pep rally. Let's take a look at this year's homecoming festivities.
Every year, the students of Warwick Valley High School bring out their school pride during the annual Homecoming Spirit Week. During Spirit Week, students come into school each day dressed in different costumes according to the days decided by the school. The week kicked off with Cartoon Day, followed by Duo Day on Tuesday, America Day on Wednesday, Board Game Day on Thursday, and finally, Spirit Day on Friday, where Spirit Week concluded with the pep rally. During the pep rally, students in the freshman, sophomore, and junior classes watched from the bleachers as the senior class charged into the gym, demonstrating their school spirit with their cheers, their outfits, and most importantly, their competitive energy. Players from all of the fall sports teams were called down to the center of the gym, where they performed their cheer for the rest of the school. In addition to this, each class sent down representatives to partake in the pie eating contest, a three-legged race that turned into a piggyback race, and the annual tug-of-war. While the senior class may have had their last Spirit Week, all the students, new and old, will be sure to remember this year's homecoming festivities.
Spirit Day is always a fun and exciting day with the pep rally and the classes coming together. What was your favorite day of Spirit Week?
And to tie Spirit Week together, Warwick Valley students built class floats that represent each of their classes. The floats are then put on display for the entire town to enjoy. Let's take a look.
The homecoming parade rolled through town in a flash of purple and gold. Warwick students from all grades showed their school pride with their class floats and banners. Clubs, teams, and foundations of all assortments marched in the parade while wearing their purple and gold. Warwick Valley High School junior gives his insight on preparations of the parade.
Preparation started around 10 o'clock this morning. What went into the preparations was everybody had to get in their respective cars. Homecoming court had to find or pick which cars they wanted to be in for the parade. People had to blow up balloons. My dad obviously had to get hooked up to the trailer, so all the truck pullers had to get hooked up to the trailer, and it took all about an hour and a half.
Warwick police officer Michael Kearns gave insight on how the town prepared for the traffic caused by the parade.
So first off, it starts with a fantastic community. We wouldn't be able to do an event like this if we didn't have kids that were responsible and a community that rallied behind it. On the back end with the police department, we bring in extra manpower and additional units. We make sure that we close down streets to offer safety for all the kids. We also have a big thanks to the fire police, the volunteers of the community are the backbone. They come out, they volunteer their time, and they help supplement our manpower and really make for a good event. And then obviously the Board of Education, the superintendent, for allowing this event to transpire every year.
Rain or shine, the parade stayed afloat, and the students of Warwick Valley got to show their school pride. For WVTV, I'm Danny Morgese, signing off.
Well, that looked like it made quite a splash. Looking back at this year's parade, I think it's safe to say that students enjoyed this year's homecoming festivities.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Wildcat News. If you have a story that you'd like to see on the show, be sure to stop by 136 and let the staff at WVTV know.
Be sure to subscribe to see future editions of Wildcat News, as well as other shows such as In the Valley, Overtime, and Short Stack. For WVTV, I'm Maddie Gronsky.
And I'm Charles Phelan, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Are you wearing your seatbelt? No.
Kim, you know that people not wearing a seatbelt are 30 times more likely to be ejected from the vehicle.
Airbags are useless unless you're wearing your seatbelt. Okay, guys, I'll wear my seatbelt from now on.
For more information on seatbelt and car safety, visit www.safercar.gov.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.